Hello, welcome to the Langley Chamber of Commerce series of candidates election videos. My name is Frank Buckholz, North Langley Regional Director for the Greater Langley Chamber of Commerce. With me is Gail Chaddock-Costello. Welcome, Gail.
Thank you so much for having me.
Gail is running for Langley Township Councillor, and I'm wondering if you can tell us a little bit about why you're running and a little bit about your background.
Okay, thank you very much, and thanks for having me. I'm running primarily, there's probably 2 or 3 reasons that flow together, but I've been fortunate in my lifetime to have a series of opportunities to be elected to positions of leadership in varying situations and for varying purposes. But that's allowed me to develop some leadership skills. It's also allowed me to develop a lot of time spent and skill set around collaboration and goal setting, vision setting, and also working with individuals who expect me to come up with answers for them to situations large and small. I've also done a considerable amount of bargaining, and bargaining, negotiating skills come into play when you're trying to determine what's the best thing to do and what's the best way to go forward. So I'd like to continue to use those skills. I also have lived in the community for 23 years now, and there are some issues that I'd like to ensure that we address in a long-term vision and the short-term 4-year term vision.
Okay. Maybe you could expand on that a little bit, Gail, and tell me specifically what are the issues that you're most concerned that you'd like to see the next Township Council deal with.
Thanks for the question. It's something that seems to have come to be a realization for many people. It's been something I've been involved with for a number of years, and that's the need for housing on a number of different levels. We're all aware of the current situation with homelessness rising around the province and within the township. That's something that I think needs to be addressed, but there's also a huge pervasive issue in regard to housing for those who are on limited incomes, for families who need low-income housing, for seniors, for those with disabilities, for those suffering through mental health issues. So a wide variety of housing at a large variety of cost points, just not market price housing, is going to be a huge issue, I think, if we're going to make sure that Langley grows in the way we want it to, and so that we meet the needs of individuals. We have a wide range of population, as every community has. They all need something different. So housing, of course. There's a rising crime rate that I keep getting asked about wherever I go, and I'm sure there's a wide range of solutions to deal with that. I have some thoughts of my own, but that's not the whole focus of why I'm here today. But that, transportation and infrastructure issues, around fiscal responsibility. I'm used to having to balance budgets, and so I think there's a number of things we all want to do, but then coming forward with a timeline and what are the sets of priorities and how much money do we have to spend. So I'm interested in focusing on that as well within the role of Township Council.
Okay, now the housing issue.
Yes.
What can the Township Council do to sort of make get affordable housing more readily available? I mean, what tools has it got, and what would you like to see it do?
I think well, we're fortunate at the moment because there has been some federal money come into housing, and there is the Provincial Housing Association, and they're willing to partner with communities. In addition, some of the tourism dollars have now been reallocated. Communities can now use a portion of that money as well for homeless projects.
Okay.
So we have some ability at all 3 levels of government to be looking at and encouraging developers to put forward proposals for housing for the homeless, but also for housing for those who are on fixed incomes, low incomes, and those who are going to need to probably be in a rental situation, but they don't want to live in substandard housing just because they can't afford to buy. In addition to that, we all have children who are looking to be in the housing market, and there's certainly nothing in the market price for most young people to buy, but again, they'd like to rent something that gives them a sense of comfort and is a quality piece of rental.
Okay, now let's talk about the transportation issue that you mentioned briefly. What do you see as the top transportation priorities for the incoming Township Council?
Well, they have to work with TransLink, of course, and so I think, and that's not said as a negative, it's not totally within the council's purview to just start generating some projects on their own. But I think that working through TransLink as well, there's an opportunity to develop increased busing. But when I look at their long-term plan, their 10-year plan, they're not looking at any major infrastructure changes in terms of whether it be SkyTrain or light rail. That's not coming for a number of years yet, and currently it resides in phase 3 and isn't even funded. So that's a bit off the map for us. Our transportation needs are to bring in, I think, within that plan, as much busing improvement as possible, and then to look within the infrastructure of developments in terms of widening roads and ensuring that as communities grow and develop, the road infrastructure keeps up with the density of the new housing, so that people don't feel like they're jammed into houses, which are lovely, but they have no exit routes out to the main thoroughfares.
It sounds like you're talking about 208 Street, I think.
208 would be one of them. It's one of the things I've gotten many calls or emails
Right.
about, but there are other areas
There are
as
others
well.
as
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you very much for your time today, Gail.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.